Namaste. Good evening. This is Dr. Aparna. I am an Ayurvedic neuropsychotherapist, a passionate Ayurveda psychotherapy, Bhagavad Gita, and neuroscience infopreneur, medical writer. See, today we are discussing my favorite, one of my favorite and most asked and most questioned I have received on the topics is what is Ayurvedic psychotherapy? So, people, I have discussed it earlier as well, but this discussion today we are delving into the depths of Ayurvedic psychotherapy. It is called Sattvavajaya Chikitsa in Ayurveda. So, when I talk of Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, see, we embracing Ayurvedic psychotherapy through Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. So, in today's world, why is Sattvavajaya Chikitsa important? So, if we have to explore the ancient wisdom of Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, see, in today's world, we are bombarded with stress, anxieties, and n number of mental health concerns. So, the constant quest is for inner peace and mental well being. So the mental well-being has become more significant than ever before. As much as mental well-being is as important or more important than physical well-being. So while we have modern psychology which offers valuable tools, so it's often the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda that unlocks the profound connection between mind and body. So as much as Ayurveda is somatic, it is psychological as well. So um, one such gem nestled within this vast of an ocean of knowledge is Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. So this is often translated as Ayurvedic psychotherapy. So what is see, Sattvavajaya Chikitsa is the art of conquering the mind through cultivating sattva. So the quality of clarity, what the sattva is, the quality of clarity, something which is positive, serenity, and something which brings sattva brings equanimity. So this journey transcends mere saying it as Ayurvedic psychotherapy. It's just I always talk of emotional metamorphosis. So Ayurvedic psychotherapy, it's a metamorphosis of the mind. So and importantly of the trigunas. We Manas also, the mind also has three gunas, that is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. I've talked about Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas n number of times. You will find in my videos, so I'll link it below if you want. So where what is this is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas should be in the balance, to orchestrate a symphony of inner harmony. For the inner harmony, all these as the tridoshas. In Ayurveda, we talk about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. All the tridoshas should be in harmony. In when we talk of manas, mind, and Ayurvedic psychotherapy, we should always make sure that Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are in a symphony to for the inner harmony. So here the mind and body, the intertwine of the mind and body is nothing but Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, that is Ayurvedic psychotherapy. So for the definitions here, what is if we have to talk about Ayurvedic psychotherapy, there is one many references which talk about Ayurvedic psychotherapy, one of the most famous and my favorite references is Mana eva manobhavaha, Mana eva sarva jagat, Sarvam jagat. So, Manaha yat yat kinchit chintayati tad bhavati. So, this translates into the mind is the mind's condition. The mind is the entire universe. So, whatever the mind thinks, Manaha yat yat kinchit chintayati tad bhavati. So, whatever the mind thinks, that it becomes. That means the mind is the entire universe. Whatever the mind believes, whatever the mind perceives, it achieves. That means that becomes the reality. So the mind is everything. The world is what the mind thinks. Whatever the mind thinks, that it becomes. So, this shloka, highlights the central role of the mind in shaping our experiences and emphasizes the importance of cultivating, sattva to navigate life with wisdom and equanimity. So, here, Charaka also, here's in Charaka Samhita, there is explanation, elaborate explanation on what is, Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. So, Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, Sattvavajaya means it is the pacification of mental disturbances and the increase the sattva, the ability to perform sattva oriented actions. That means the engagement in the righteous conduct and the attainment of happiness and enlightenment. So, what it talks about. So, Sattvavajaya Chikitsa transcends the concept of mere symptom management. So, it is not only the mere symptom management. So, Sattvavajaya Chikitsa delves into the very root of mental suffering. So, recognizing the imbalance caused by Rajas and Tamas. So, the focus lies on cultivating the Sattva, the quality of clarity, serenity, positivity, and wisdom. So, first thing it talks about is chitta vikshepana. Vikshepana is pacification of mental disturbances. Mental restlessness is, one of the major causes of mental illness. So, pacification of mental disturbances, one of the things Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa does. Second is Sattva Vardhanam. So, to increase the Sattva, the qualities of clarity, wisdom, and equanimity. So, the third thing it does is Sattva Karmakaritvam. That is the ability to perform Sattva oriented actions. So, positive actions, ethical actions, right thinking, wisdom oriented actions. And um, truthful, and our choices and deeds become aligned with compassion, truthfulness, and righteousness. Next is sati vyavahara pravrutti. That means engagement in righteous conduct. That means ethical living becomes the cornerstone of our existence. So, which fosters ethical living, fosters harmony and well-being. So the next thing what Sattvavajaya Chikitsa talks about is Sukha aim Sukha Dukkha Bhagyamaivacha. So, attainment of happiness, enlightenment, and the journey that culminates in lasting mental being. So, this also talks about attainment of happiness, attainment of enlightenment, Sukha, the Sukha, the enlightenment, and the journey culminates into a lasting mental well being. So, Ayurvedic psychology and the pillars of Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, if I have to talk about Ayurvedic psychology and the pillars, is so Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, is rests upon the foundation of Ayurvedic psychology, which is called Manas. So, the intricate knowledge that uncovers the relationship between mind, body, emotions, and soul. So, we make use of trigunas here. The trigunas, as I said, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, these govern the mental landscape. So, recognizing the interplay and how they influence the thought and emotions is crucial for maintaining mental health. Next, we make use of Pancha Mahabhutas. So, Pancha Mahabhutas are earth, water, five elements with which all of us are formed. And every particle, every microorganism, every human, every animal, every living thing is formed from these living and non-living entities are formed from these five elements. So earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So these are also the building blocks of our physical health and also our mental health. So I and then we make use of sapta dhatus. One is trigunas, tridoshas. First, we make use of trigunas, panchamahabhutas. Sapta dhatus are seven bodily tissues, including the mind. So we make use of these dhatus, the tissue elements of the body. So nourishing and balancing the mind, the mental dhatu, or the mental the tissue, the brain here, becomes a critical aspect of mental well-being. So here, to conclude today's session, we'll talk about Ayurvedic psychotherapy. There's very much to talk about Ayurvedic psychotherapy. I will be explaining one by one concept in the next in the coming sessions. But for today, we will end by one of the Charaka's quotes, a beautiful quote. So bliss arises from the contentment of the Sattva. So, tranquility is the supreme happiness. Tranquility means inner peace. So, this is the ultimate state of a perfect human being, says Acharya Charaka. So, to embrace the wisdom of Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, that is the art of conquering the mind through Sattva. So, this is an introduction to Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. We will talk about Sattvavajaya Chikitsa in detail in the coming sessions. So, thank you for staying tuned, and I'll meet